In today's video, I'm going to break down step by step the creative structure and infrastructure overall of businesses that generate 30, 40, 50, 100 plus $1,000 days, just like this one for your own reference. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brando. I typically work with 8 and 7-figure e-commerce brands, and this is just one of them for the sake of actually you seeing the results in front of your eyes. This is just one of our own clients that generates between $40 and $50,000 every single day. Okay, now that we got the proof out of the way and you know the type of caliber of clients that we're typically used to working with, let's dive deeper into the actual strategies. Now, let's start by first, let me shrink my big head over here on the bottom left and let's get started. What am I going to talk about? 40,000 plus per day creative framework, the guaranteed step-by-step process to dramatically increase your chances of scaling to 8 figures. I'm not guaranteeing that you're getting to 8 figures, but I can 100% guarantee that if you follow these frameworks step by step, you will 1000% increase your chances dramatically to get to 8 figures, okay? At least the run rate, if you're already doing to 8 figures, this also applies if you wanna get from 12 million to 50 million a year in revenue, okay? So let's get right into it. The most important KPI, the absolute most important KPI that you always need to remember is the ad hit rate. You cannot scale your creative production if you don't have a systematized and great way, I should say, to have a good hit rate proportion. Meaning that if it takes you 300 ads to literally find 2 or 3 winning ads that can actually scale, then it's a big problem. It means that you're not leveraging the right resources that actually make the difference when it comes to finding new winning ads. And so we basically, just to show you visually, we want to go from a situation where we go from this, where we're testing like 30, 40 ads and maybe just finding one creator, the green check mark over here. And in this case, we would have an unscalable creative infrastructure and a hit rate of only like 2 or 3 or 4%, not scalable, which by the way is wasted time, wasted resources. It burns out the team. Literally, burnout, the definition of burning out is you doing the same thing for like 100 hours a day, right? Your team from a holistic standpoint, and they're literally seeing that everything that they do is not working. Okay, that's literally burnout. It doesn't motivate them to do better, right? It's frustrating and it's not scalable. You're literally trying to scale a broken engine. You're trying to do like 50 ads every 2 days on a broken engine because your hit rate is so poor. We want to go from this to a situation that looks more something like this to be very, very realistic, where you test 30 ads and maybe 3, 4, I would even say like 4 or 5 ads are actually winners. Winners are ads that spend thousands of dollars and have a profitable ROI and are consistent with the results, okay? Not a quick win that's like $500 at 7 ROAS. That's not a winner. It needs to spend, right? It needs to mature. It needs to be consistent. That's a winner. That's a definition of winner. And so this is a hit rate of maybe like 12, 15, 20%. It's scalable because it's a high ad hit rate. It's motivating, it's efficient, it's a scalable process, and it's less time to find winners. We literally have some clients that actually got to $2 to $3 million per month with like 5 ads per week. 7 ads per week. Nothing crazy. It's completely like quality over quantity. Then when you want, it's quality over quantity. Then if you want to add the quantity side where you test more creative concepts, you test more angles, you test more everything, right? You do a lot more creatives, a lot more iterations. That's when you can really start scaling the creative side and doing a lot more and then scaling even further, right? But in some cases, to scale to like $1, $2, $3 million a month, you just need very, very good quality ads where you understand what works. And so this is what we want to do. And this is the same metric that all of the 8-figure brands that are doing 8 figures are optimizing for, the ad hit rate. In fact, this is actually one of our own clients. If you take a look here, this is just a screenshot from literally their dashboard. We're getting a 12% win rate on the ads. 30% are losers, 23% are break even, and 35% are to be determined. If you're getting some numbers that are similar to these, it means that you're pretty much ready to start ramping up and scaling. Ideally, this number is around over 10%, 12%. In this case, it's 11.8%, closer to maybe 15%. So 1 in like 7, 8, 9, 10 ads. It's a winner that is scalable. This is an ideal situation, okay? Going back to the diagram, let's move forward. So how do we increase this ad hit rate? What are the core principles that you need to focus on to really maximize this ad hit rate so that you can do more creatives and then scale further, right? And by the way, before we move forward, the main misconception that everybody says, every guru on YouTube or anywhere in the world say, is that you just need to do more creatives, just randomly do more creatives, and then eventually you basically hope that something sticks on the wall and works. It's just not, unfortunately, not how it works. If the only thing was actually to get you from 8 figures, like from 5K a day to like 50K a day, is do more creatives, everybody would be able to do that. So it's not it. at least from my experience. So these are the four core principles that you need to focus on to increase the hit rate, and we're gonna go over each and one by one. So why winning ads are winners? Understanding the frameworks and the psychological factors and buying motivations and triggers that make a winning ad a winning ad. The framework, the scientific framework. I'm going to break down exactly how we do it. I have a lot to speak about on this topic. Next thing, the crafting a holy creative doc, which is basically a creative doc that you send over to your creative team so that they have all of the summary of what works, what doesn't. I'll show you exactly what are the components that make this creative document in just a second. And then tracking all creative tests. I have a systematized process to do that, super efficient. You can actually get a template. I'll soon share, stick until the end. And within the next 10 minutes, I'll probably talk about it. It's an amazing template that you should be using to track all your tests. And then scaling with angles and creative concepts to scale even further once you have a decent ad hit rate, okay, which is what we're optimizing for, okay? Now, let's talk about principle number one, why winning ads are winners, understanding this. So let me just read very briefly. It all starts with understanding why winners are winners and scientifically breaking down why those ads work in the first place. Understanding the framework of why things work is one of the things that will get you to 8 figures in the first place, okay? This alone is important. So what are some actions, like starting action pointers that you can start doing to gather information on why winners are winners? So first of all, you need to find your best direct competitors and break down what they're doing, why they were spending $3 million on a freaking ad, and why it's pumping in a 2.5 ROAS, okay? I'm gonna explain where to track these ads and where to choose these ads in just a second, right? Then break down their longest running ads, as I just said, they're winners. Understanding buying triggers and motivations, as I said before. Review mining on Amazon, mining on Reddit, right? Starting your own reviews, and then do all of this above what I just explained for your own brand. For some reason, some brands don't even do it for their own brand. They literally have comments, they have reviews, they have Reddit stuff, and they don't read these things, and they just try to shoot on the dark, try to like think or believe that this is what this buying trigger, this XYZ buying trigger is what people actually think of when buying. Well, in reality, it's not the truth, because based on the reviews and the review mining documents and research that I can show you in just a second, it's not the case. So you need to be very scientific and kind of like practical, data driven about these things. Okay, so these are the 5 action points. Let's start with number 1. What do? Find our best direct to competitor. We go on tools like Atria, where we can literally go and funnel hack and filter by longest running ads, as you can see over here, filter by active ads. I can show you an example in just a second. Once we do this, we filter the best ad that maybe looks something like this. I can give you an example in just a second. We can transcribe the script, and then we can upload the video, download the video, transcribe the script, and upload it into ChatGPT 4.0, which is the version that we use. It's $20 a month. Pay for it. It's 1000% useful. And then you ask ChatGPT to do an ad breakdown, an ad framework breakdown, buying triggers, what are the buying triggers and motivations, and the required content and B-rolls and frames that you need to reproduce a similar type of creative, okay? It's gonna look something like this, where basically ChatGPT is gonna give you all this framework, the ad breakdown, and then basically you can combine it with the right B-rolls. I also have another cool graphical representation that we build internally that is actually really a real ad scientific breakdown. I'll show you in just a second, super valuable. And then buying triggers, and then required B-rolls. If you hear this weird sound, it's my air conditioning, my apologies, okay? So this is what you get. So let me quickly bring you through a demo so you actually know how this works. So what I do is I basically go on Atria, I use a tool like this. Let's just do Dr. Squatch. I always use this brand as an example, but you can use this tool to funnel hack them. And so let's just say I'm selling soaps and deodorants, and they're doing, I'm doing quite well, but they're doing a lot better. They're maybe 10 steps ahead. I can go in here in Atria, search them up, and see all of their creatives, their hooks, their ad copies, their headlines, including you can filter by longest running ads, as I always say over here, and by active status. Okay, this will allow you to filter the active ads that have been running for the longest amount of time. And this is a perfect example. July 23, 2024, right? The 23rd of July, literally 2024. It's basically over a year, or almost a year, that this ad has been active. So what you can do is click on it, you watch it, you can download it, right? Then you upload it to ChatGPT, right? And then you can also transcribe it and copy the transcript and also put it into ChatGPT. The reason why we want to do both is because we want to give as many resources, right, as possible to ChatGPT to actually give you the best answers. Then once it gives you the results, it's going to look something like this, as I showed you already. And it's going to be kind of like, make sure to review it to make sure everything is accurate, okay? Right? Next thing that we want to do here is actually to take it a step further, manually go through the best ad and create a scientific ad breakdown that looks something like this. I talk about this in my other videos as well, but typically what we do for our own clients, at least, that is very, very helpful, is that we have different segments. So the ad segment, the seconds by frame, the required B-roll shots, B-roll explanation, so the creative team understands exactly what we're looking to do with the B-rolls, and then the ad segment explanation. What is this entire segment, right? All of this segment, this one, this one, this one. What is it about, right? What is the summary of it? So literally, why do we literally scientifically break down ads by every 2 to 3 seconds? You see, 0 to 3, 3 to 5, second 5 to 7, 7 to 9. What we want to do is understand exactly what is the frame, so we know what people are looking at, literally what is the required B-roll, and how we can reproduce it ourselves. Give it a little explanation about the B-roll so the creative team knows what to do, and the explanation of the segment. Why do we want to break this down scientifically to the T precisely every 3 to 4 seconds or 2 to 3 seconds? It's because a winning ad, what makes a winning ad is actually an ad that retains people. This ad, a winning ad that generates millions of dollars, and is an ad that has a super high retention rate, which is exactly why Facebook is giving the ad low CPMs and why the brand is getting a high ROAS with the ad, a low cost per acquisition, a super high CTR, loads and thousands and loads of comments and shares and likes. It's because there's a super high retention. So if there's one thing that I really suggest you to do, which is super valuable, is break down all of these hooks. You should see all of these 2 to 3 second frames, all as hooks. Imagine if you can hook people 17 times in a video ad. You think it's going to have a high retention or a lower retention? It's going to have a high retention, 100%, guaranteed. I can guarantee you that. And so we want to break down scientifically why these things work so that we can easily reproduce them and we have a framework for it. It's always, as I said before, if you can understand why 8-figure brands actually get to 8-figure brands and understand the framework, then you're already 10 steps ahead. And so this is actually, do the above and do it for like 5 to 7 to 10 ads. This is actually an example of a document that we created for a client that looks something like this. We literally break it down. As you can see, ad number 1, a podcast style. So we do the ad framework with ChatGPT, the buying triggers, and then manually we actually do this scene by scene breakdown, which is basically what I just showed you over here. It's just like, it doesn't look like this. It's maybe not as sexy as this one on this diagram, but it's basically the same thing, like horizontal. Instead of horizontal, sorry, it's vertical, right? So it's the same exact thing. We do the same exact thing for another ad number 2, right? Same thing. Ad number 3, same thing. And so this is basically for one client, one brand, a 33-page document. So if we do it for 12 clients and it's 33 pages, you should definitely do 33 pages for yourself and really break down why these ads are working. So this is something that I really, really highly recommend. Okay, moving forward into our explanation here. Now, bring it a step further and read reviews to understand key buying triggers, product improvement opportunities, right? What customers love, what customers hate, etc., etc., etc. So what you can do is you can literally go on Reddit and then you can copy and paste a bunch of main Reddit reviews, or the ones that are really the key indicators, and you can copy and paste them on ChatGPT, and then guess what you asked it to do? You asked it to do a review, to give you buying motivations based on these, or I guess you can ask it to do like buying motivations, buying triggers, and also what they love, what they hate, pros, cons, advantages, disadvantages, and why people buy in the first place. And so it can give you something like this. So language and phrases, unexpected benefits, emotional triggers, real buying motivations, right? All of these things are all good triggers that you should analyze by just reading the reviews. Then if you want to take it a step further, which is what we do, is that we actually create a mining report that looks something like this. Let me show you. So to be very transparent with you, it looks something like this, where we basically use a tool called Copilot Shulex. It's called like this, I think, Copilot Shulex Reviews. It looks something like this. It's a Chrome extension that you can use on Amazon. So if one of your direct competitors is on Amazon, then go on there. Literally, as soon as you go on the product page of your competitor, you can download this Chrome extension and it's going to give you a full report that looks exactly like this. It doesn't look like this. You have to like repurpose it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you like a diagram like this, but this is essentially what you can build with it. So positive features and benefits, areas for improvement, buyer motivations and expectations, right? Use cases during the night, the bathroom, morning boost, whatever. And then customer sentiment, what's good, what's bad. It also gives you percentages of motivations and expectations. So purchase motivations, 71% of these people actually buy because of skin improvements motivations. Or another 10 or 11% is superior hydration. So all of these are super important key metrics and data points that are detrimental to make the ads work on the front end, right? A lot of people don't do all of these scientific breakdowns and researches because they're lazy, and this is what 8-figure brands do, to break it to you, right? And so this is to bring it a step further. Now, moving forward, we have to understand that once we have all this information, we need to systematize it so that we can provide all this information to the creative team so they know exactly, and they have an SOP, a standardized process to know exactly step by step what they need to do to reproduce winning ads. And by the way, before I talk about this document, it's important to understand that I have one main theory. The main theory is to get from 7 to 8 figures, it's not like a new product. It's the same thing, but doing it better and with more systems, processes, and reporting. And reporting, I also mean something like this, right? Which I just showed you over here. This is at least the reporting sheet that we use to track all of the ads that work and don't work. We literally have so many other sheets like an ROI calculator, a competitor sheet, daily report, put all the daily numbers, which are also color coded, as you can see over here. We're super analytical nerds, right? All of the ad copies that we do, the UGC tracker, CRO tracker, we are literally analytical nerds from like a 360-degree angle, like everything. We track everything. So this is the main difference between companies that are able to get to that next level. They just track everything. If you want the sheet, by the way, there's a link down below. This is the freebie that I wanted to give you that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So if you want it, there's a link down below. Give us your email, and then it's going to be sent to your inbox. Just check your spam just in case. Okay, moving forward, let's talk about this holy doc. So just imagine for just 1 second that you have like 3, 4, 5, 7 team members that consists of maybe a creative strategist, copywriters, right? Your CMO, the head of performance, the graphic designers, the editors. Just imagine that all these people that actually make or break the ad account, because let's be real, these are the people that are responsible to make your ads profitable and working. Just imagine that all these people receive a holy document that they praise every single day that contains ad frameworks, bind triggers, winning scripts, required B-rolls, AI voiceovers, and also documents that look something like this. Scientific breakdowns. So they literally need to copy and paste the framework. Not even to mention that what's going to happen with your team when you send them this document is that they're going to praise you and love you, and they're going to stick with you because you're giving them the right SOPs, systems, processes, infrastructures, documents, resources overall to allow their job to be done well, which is what a business owner needs to do to their employees. What's the end results? Higher efficiency, more profitable ads, less time finding winners. Okay, increasing ad hit rate. That's the end of the result, right? Which is kind of like our main topic of this video. How do we increase this ad hit rate, which allows us to get to 40, 50, $100,000 days? That's the whole point of the scope of this video, right? Moving forward, let's talk about tracking all creative tests. This is by far one of the most important things. If you don't have a systematized way to track every single creative test that you put into the ad account, you pretty much are wasting your time. So we use 2 major tools, okay? Let me just break down what I wrote here. Keeping track of what ads are performing, breaking even, losing, and why is extremely important part of the process. If you don't learn, optimize, and adjust, you won't grow. Having a creative testing tracker is essential, and this is how we do it. So we use Atria, which is this tool that I just showed you over here. Looks something like this. You see that all of this for Dr. Squatch, you have the personas, the angles, the USPs, the landing pages, the ad copies, the hooks, right? I can just click on one just so you see it. You can literally subscribe to Atria, upgrade, I think it's like $140, and it's going to give you an AI diagram that looks something exactly like this, but for your own company. But because it's linked to your ad account, so you can link it to your Shopify and to your ad account, and with AI it's going to recognize what ads are working and what are not working. Okay, so let me show you very quickly what I mean by that over here. In the free form, it's going to give you an ad breakdown and filter by age, right, by platform, and also show you the top creative tags by problem, solution, testimonial type of ads, free gifts, angles, emotions. And the best thing over here is that it's going to filter by ROAS. So you can literally filter by ads, creatives, top spenders, images, videos, hooks, copies, headlines, landing pages by ROAS. You see, this is the ROAS that we're getting for like a client. We can literally filter by ROAS, and only with ads. Filter by ROAS for the best creatives, for the best images, for the best videos. So you can see what ad copy or what headline or what landing page gives you the best ROAS. It's like super valuable. The other way that we actually take a step ahead is that, as I showed you before, we have this demo command center, which is our holy grail of tracking and documenting, which is basically what we use to track every single individual test. So every single time we launch on the ad account, let's just say test number 3, we go in here, we name it, we repurpose it, and we talk and mention break-even points, what also is the creative concept and angle that we used, what is the marketing angle that we used, the main emotion that we portrayed in the video ad, whether it was a video or an image ad, the avatar that we're going after, the hook, the messaging, the copy, the creatives. This is blank because it's a demo, right? It's just a demo command center. It's not real stuff. It's just a demo. And then we also keep track of the status of the ad, whether it's active, scheduled, or tested, to be determined or winner. loser or break even. And then of course all data, once again this data is missing just because it's a demo, but we typically color code everything and track spend, ROAS, CTR, cost per click, CR, conversion rate, average order value, CPM, hook rate, hold rate. These are the main metrics that we track. And then once we determine everything, we can create graphical representations because we're creating so many different columns that looks something like this. What is the win rate, loss rate, break even, to be determined. And then we have next steps. Because of the learnings of this ad, test number 3, it worked. It was a winner. Why did it work? What was the buying motivation? What was the script? What was the hold rate like? What was the hook? We try to understand why things work so that we can then go ahead and further optimize these research documents that takes us a lot of time to reproduce, okay? This is by far one of the most profitable things that you can do. Track every single creative test. So systematize it, find a way to do it, use this sheet, use something similar, but do it, okay? And by the way, we have a virtual assistant internally that actually does this for all of our clients. And so you should probably do the same, right? You don't have to work with an agency for the most part to do these things, right? So now moving forward to the next important thing, which is scaling angles and creative concepts. Let me read what I just wrote here. Once you have an idea of what angles and creatives concepts work, now you can focus on improving or maintaining a great hit rate, right? And hit rate by testing new angles, creative concepts while maintaining winning ad elements. Let me explain further. So this is where you're in a situation where you have a good ad hit rate, you know what angles work, you know what winning creative concepts work, or else they wouldn't be called winners. And so you're in a situation where, let's just say your winning angles are angle 1, 2, and 3. What is the next step that you should do to either maintain or increase your ad hit rate, which is once again the main KPI that we're optimizing for over here. Remember, what you can do is that you get the winning angles, right? Winning angles 1, 2, and 3, and you test more creative concepts that look something like this. So for example, I'll give you an example. Let me just show you visually because it's easier. We have a sheet over here called creative concepts. So we basically track angles and we track creative concepts, right? And so what we want to do is, like, let's just say that the double chin angle and the instant lift angle are working. What we want to do is, instead of just testing like 2 or 3 concepts, which were the winning concepts that worked on the ad account, now we go ahead and full force and test unboxing, reaction, comment overload, TikTok response bubble, static, advertorial types of videos, UGC, traditional raw UGC videos, podcast styles. Once again, if you want access to all this sheet, which also has inspo links, there's a link down below. Just go get it. It's free. This is what we do. We don't just limit ourselves with like testing 2, 3, 4 creative concepts, which is what I typically see. We try to scale horizontally so that we get the most out of these angles and we maintain or increase ad hit rate, and we can just do more creatives. Once again, it doesn't make sense to do more creatives if the ad hit rate doesn't either stay the same or increase. If you see the ad hit rate trying to really go down to like 7%, 5%, 3%, like the example I shared before, it doesn't make sense to actually scale. Take a step back, get the ad hit rate back to where it was, and then try focusing on these other things. Why is it important to at least have one winning component between creative concepts and angles? Because if there's no winning component, you're just testing something completely new, and it's a risk, right? It's too risky. We want to do 80% of our time should be attributed on things that are already proven to work. 80% of our time should go towards testing new, same angles with different and new creative concepts, right, that we've never tested before, right? The proven aspect here of the ad is the angle, of course. And then we do the same thing with creative concepts. So we get the best creative concepts that work, and then we try to test it with new angles. This should say new emerging angles, right? Over here. So it's basically a mix and match. Here we're taking the angles that are winners and we're testing new creative concepts. And here we're doing the inverse, where we're getting the creative concepts that work, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and we're testing new angle propositions. Chances are, if it's a good angle that you already know is working, maybe for a competitor, and you're testing it with a creative concepts that is like maybe a super raw UGC or a whitelisting ad that's working super well, that concept, that sales process, that concept is very profitable for you, but you just change the angle, maybe it's still going to work very well. And once again, it's going to allow you to either maintain or increase that ad hit rate, which is by far the most important thing. So that is it for this video. I hope that this video was valuable. I did touch base on many different things. As you can see, we went through this whole document all together. But if there's one key takeaway, go and optimize for ad hit rate, and then really try to put yourself in a position where your hit rate is like 12, 13, 15% instead of like 3, 4, 5%. So you have a much more scalable infrastructure, a less stressed team, more motivated, easier to scale, more efficient, higher, less time to find winners, and just higher ad hit rate. I hope this video was valuable. Once again, go get the sheet over here. It's completely for free. And by the way, if you are a brand doing around $100,000 a month, plus or minus at least, and you want a free audit and you want to explore the opportunity of increasing this ad hit rate or increasing or delegating the entire creative infrastructure, research structure, ad creation process, everything that I shared in this video, but not limited to what I shared, including CRO, email marketing, we're a full stack partner. Book in a call. We can hop in a call. If there's synergy, we can talk about potentially working together if we have free slots open at our agency. If not, it's fine. You're just going to get a free audit and it's going to be, free. So book a call if you want. See you in the call and definitely see you in the next video. Bye for now.